And of course, as part of the EWC catch-up, we need to take a look at the 3 games that are taking place over the course of this weekend. Dota 2, as well as MLBB and Free Fire. I want to start with Dota 2 and remind everybody that we are in the midst of the group stage. 2 groups of 8 teams are playing best of 2s against one another, whereby 6 will be advancing to the double elimination bracket. Before we take a look at the group standings, I think I'd love to hear back from Tsunami because he gave me some of the spiciest on-the-floor takes yesterday.
What's up, Quick Shot? You want Dota? Well, I got plenty of it here in the Katia Arena. We just saw a split series against OG and Aurora, which may not seem that exciting to you, but OG, you talked to Seb, didn't you? You know that storied organization. Whenever they show up on a stage, magic is happening, and yet Aurora can still split a series with them? That's a feat, all right? Don't take it lightly. Later, OG's gonna show up also, and they'll face off against Gaming Gladiators. So they're the high watermark that we have to get past. Meanwhile, I hear your self-proclaimed Dota expert Suns fan had Falcons top of their, group stage estimations. Well, there we're right. Despite a very rocky 0-4 at the very beginning, Falcons have done nothing but get 2-0 since, and they've equalized. They are now 4-4, so yeah, Suns fan was right about that one. But don't ask him for his Aghanims tier list. That's a different story. That's all I got for you right now. Let me know if you need anything else later on in the day.
Tsunami, all I need from you is tips on how to get a luscious beard and also a little bit more banter between you and Suns fan. It brings me all the joy in the world. I still want to see where Team Falcons are going to end up. Obviously, during the prediction segment on our first day of the show, Suns fans mentioned that they should be up at the top. The rest of the group is pretty much looking how we expected. Tundra Esports did, in fact, pick up that win, that map loss to Team Liquid yesterday. We watched it. Team Liquid has set a massive win. We did the co-stream with Seb, so after the show's done, you can watch that one. Nevertheless, move on and take a look at the other games playing this weekend, starting with MLBB, and I'd love to hear from the floor.
Hey guys, Dawood Sandstorm here, and I'm here to give you a little bit of a breakdown as to what happened with our first best of 5 semi-final for the Mid-Season Cup 2024 here in the Amazon Arena for the Esports World Cup. But before I get to that, I have to tell you, this community has been absolutely incredible. Not a single seat in the arena was left empty. The atmosphere was absolutely electric as the audience was losing their voices just as we almost did on the stage. But when it came to the games, Liquid Echo and Falcons AP Bren were swinging left and right. It was an absolute incredible matchup of these 2 titans of the industry and these 2 world-renowned world champions. The first 2 games went to the side of Falcons AP Bren, and they were only 1 win away. But Liquid Echo wasn't gonna go down without a fight. Game 3 was a 20-6 scoreline by the end of it, an absolute slaughter from the side of Liquid Echo against Falcons AP Bren. But when Game 4 came around, I believe Falcons AP Bren had a perfectly executed plan, and they managed to take down their Filipino opponents and punch their ticket to the grand finals of the MSC. And of course, the fight for the coveted MSC title and the $1 million prize for first place. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, because we're gonna find out who will be facing them from either NIP Flash or the undefeated Giants, the Selangor Red Giants. We'll see you guys tomorrow here at the arena, and we'll see who will be going up against them in the best of 7 grand final. See you then.
I think I'm gonna have to change my name. Tsunami, Sandstorm, those are 2 of the coolest nicks that we have in gaming. As a reminder, the MLBB semi-finals between Selangor Red Giants and Netflash take place tomorrow, with, of course, the finals then happening on Sunday. We'll crown ourselves another champion. The best part of this bracket is that Jay's prediction was wrong. We got 1 game left to take a look at, and this is in a slightly earlier stage of the tournament, so let's find out what's been happening in the Free Fire knockout stage.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Free Fire Esports World Cup 2024, the final day of group stages. We have already played 2 matches. In the first match, Team Falcons absolutely destroyed, 20 eliminations for them, and then being able to get the booyah. And in the second match, AG being able to get the booyah, but it was 19 Esports, at least that stole the show for me, because they were able to get so many eliminations. A team that definitely needs those points. Stay tuned and find out who's going to be moving on to the weekend on this final day of group stages for Free Fire Esports World Cup 2020.
there are still a lot of rounds to play in the Free Fire final round of knockouts, and you can see the point scores on your screens right now. I won't dive too deep into them because that's why we're here on the catch-up. We actually have a co-stream plan for Free Fire in the not too distant future, but know this. Once the knockout stages are concluded, the first teams will be eliminated and will advance to that point rush stage. That does it for ADWC Catch-Up, powered by STC. For the first time in 2 weeks, Jay's catch-up and talking about the game is actually going to be pretty focused. We've had so many games, so many matches, so many events to take place, but today was a single best of 5. What happened?
Well, today is a Filipino versus Filipino team match, and if you notice some of the people, yes, this is the real finals, because this is what the community has been really hyping for, especially a PH versus PH grand finals. And this also leads to a second point where you don't really see a PH versus PH, PH versus Indonesia or Indonesia versus Indonesia really often in any world stage. But for tomorrow, I'm really excited about this because this is a little bit especially personal, and especially when we're watching through these B-rolls of these games, really, really brutal. It could swing any moment, and especially when you're playing at such a high level, especially when you're fighting against the Filipino teams, one small mistake is what it takes, and they will just massively punish me. I think the highlight moment, it should be around here, where everybody got knocked up sky high, Flap TZ really just popping off like nobody's business, especially in this particular series, and it really ends in a 3-2-1 leaning over to Falcon.
And if you did just join us and miss some of our content earlier, if you are a fan of MLBB, you have to go back and listen to Ducky and Tic Tac talking about that series. They joined us on the sofa. You mentioned already, Selangor Red Giants tomorrow taking on NIP Flash. Your predictions are already ruined because you said Leko Deko going to win the whole thing. You sticking with your 3-2 to SRG tomorrow?
Okay, here's the thing. I am going to stick to my prediction, but I would say if SRG is definitely the fan favorites right here.
No,
but
what's your
I
prediction?
would love for me to be wrong, because this, I am actually predicting against my region.
Yeah.
And this is based on the stats and the facts that I've been seeing from my Excel sheets.
You've become very brave over the 2 weeks we've been
I
on
am.
the show. Very brave indeed. So thank you
I
for the update. Free Fire, of course, it concluded its knockout stage. So with us knowing the 12 teams going to the point rush and then finals, what is the summary of our results and the impact from it, Bunny?
I think that after the whole entire knockout stage, the one thing that we should know, people can surprise you. Players can definitely have something that is very, very profoundly, that we can have all the statistics been given out to you, but sometimes when the time for them to actually push forward, they will definitely prove you wrong, and this is what we've seen so far from Team Falcon. I mean, like, day number 1, Team Falcon was out of form and we were wondering what was going on for them, but then they come back so amazingly for day number 3. They were the one who comes from the bottom to the top, and they managed to actually come at the 4th place for this last day for the knockout stage. And something that I want to add on about Team Falcon is that if you guys were at the STC Arena, I think the reason why Team Falcon performed so well is that the fans from Team Falcon was cheering. They had like a clap. Falcon! Falcon! You would imagine they were struggling throughout that 2 maps, and yet they just pop off throughout that map number 3 until map number 6.
I will tell you this, the fact that Falcons have made very successful moves across so many games with so many of their rosters at the exact same time that was happening, Falcons AP Bremen winning. I just want to put some numbers to it very quickly. Team Falcons in Free Fire didn't play on day 1. On day 2, they managed to pick up, I've got my table here, just bear with me, only 55 points, 0 booyahs, okay, on day 2. On day 3, they topped the day, secured 133 points in total, 80 kills and 2 boys. Yeah. So they won 2 of the 4 maps. I mean, significant jump up. I really love seeing that numbers, and that's what ended up giving that high seed. Now, Dota 2, I'm hopeful we have the Dota 2 standings. What I'd like to do is pull the standings up. We don't have the particular individual match results on them. I'm not sure if you've been tracking those in your side, Suns fan. Break down for me maybe with some specific games, if you happen to know them, what we've seen throughout the day.
Yeah, so Gaiman, the exact stream we were watching, wait, was that? Yeah, that was Gaiman versus OG.
Yeah.
That one, very important. You can see
Still
the top
going,
3
right?
are tied at 5 and 3.
Wow.
So separation is not there yet. We kind of anticipated this coming to the tournament as well because this is the group of death, of course. Falcons, Heroic. I mean, this is 3-4, but these were tied the last time I checked, so they're both 4-4. And even bottom 3, it's only 3-5 for these respective teams. So it's, you know, there's still a couple more days to go in the group stage, so things are going to get crazy. But yeah, I can't say I'm too surprised with
What are the chances? What are the chances of Team Falcons actually topping the group? Because I think in your predictions, I think you had them in first. I don't think there's a meaningful difference in first.
So it really depends on these top 3 teams if they're going to start splitting games with like the LGDs of the world, right?
Yes.
And like this series that we were watching, if that goes 1-1, if it's a 2-0, then it becomes even less likely.
Would you like to check back in on that?
Yes.
Okay, well listen, that does it for our EWC catch-up powered by STC.